Hi, it's Emily here. You want to hear about my time in Kyoto? This is technically a part 2, but feel free to keep watching. It's great as a standalone. We're starting with day 4. Leaving from Ogoto Onsen, with all our bags in hand, we took a local train back into Kyoto. We couldn't check into our hotel until a little later, but we decided to stop by and drop off our bags so we didn't have to lug them around while we were visiting the Kyoto International Manga Museum. I wasn't really sure if we were allowed to record in there, so I didn't capture much, but there was this really cute photo op with their mascot, and we got our chibi portraits done by the lovely Nanami Chiyu, and they turned out so well. They also had an inspired by manga booth, where you could do a little doodle and pin it up as a thank you for being inspired by manga. I did this really fast though, because I was real hungry. And speaking of being hungry, we went next door to the connected cafe, Maeda Coffee. And they had lots of signatures of manga artists on the wall. It was super cool to look at. Devin wasn't hungry at this time, so he spent his waiting time pointing out all the different signatures and different mangas that he recognized. The food I ordered was a bacon mushroom pasta that was a little bit expensive, but I kind of expected it since it was more of a touristy place, but it was actually really good. And maybe that was just because it had bacon, and bacon is just really good. We walked back to our hotel and enjoyed the really pretty scenery of Kyoto on the way. There was especially this one river spot that was super pretty and had trees hanging over the river, and it was just so picturesque. Although it had this tiny little walking path that we had to go across, and it was a little bit scary because it was just so narrow. Like, look at how narrow this is. How I don't have that good of balance, so you're just gonna fall in the river. I mean, it wasn't that deep of a river, but that still would have been really embarrassing. We arrived at our hotel, checked in, all the bags were waiting and ready for us. It was beautiful. And let me tell you one special thing about this hotel, for specifically the reason Devin booked it, was that it had a laundry machine. And since we packed really light, this was the perfect thing for us to be able to do our laundry in our hotel and just make it super simple and easy. More about that later. Here's Emily to show you around our room.
Yay, there's a washer and dryer. Put the bags up here. Here's the shower. Maybe if I can figure. Oh, it pushes open. Glorious. The bath is actually kind of big. In the bedroom. And there's a balcony, but it's really hot outside. There's a little sneak peek. Pretty.
For dinner, we went back to a hole-in-the-wall place that we saw on our walk earlier, called Hayashi, which is a shokodo and taishoku restaurant, which loosely translates to a casual restaurant with a set meal. We both went for a pork katsu. Mine had shredded white radish, and Devin got one with a tonkatsu sauce. I didn't really like the radish, though, so Devin let me slide the plates around, and I thought dinner was great. We also greatly enjoyed the sides of the set meal, including the shredded salad, miso, and rice. Now, before we fell asleep, we put our clothes into the machine and tried to figure out the buttons. Devin's good at Japanese, but still working on the reading part, and also just the buttons on a Japanese machine can be kind of confusing sometimes, and so after fidgeting with the Google Translate picture stuff, we finally got it working and our clothes were getting cleaned. Exhausted, we climbed into bed and fell asleep. Right up until 3 a.m. when I woke up sweating and drenched, and the AC had turned off, and just a reminder, we went in July. July in Kyoto is like 100-degree weather. That's Fahrenheit. But it's so freaking hot. And so I was waking up sweaty and with a fried brain, needing to crawl towards any mildly colder area in the apartment. Ended up taking a cold bath at 3 a.m. It was the morning of day 5. And even after the rough night we had, We woke up to a beautiful Kyoto sunrise and were determined to make the most out of our day. We got dressed, took out our laundry, and realized that we couldn't figure out how to dry our clothes. There was like a 5-minute dry cycle and nothing else. We panicked for a moment because this was most of our clothes. So what we came up with was this coat rack that was in our room and hanging stuff on that and then putting it out on our balcony along with a little basket for the unmentionables that we didn't want people to see. So yeah, our clothes were drying and now all we needed to do was find breakfast. This is when I discovered that the Japanese don't have breakfast restaurants. Apparently, the early morning breakfast buffets were a rare commodity. Nothing but English-influenced places were open before 9. So we went for a place called Smart Coffee. We had to walk and then wait in line for a while. So I was so hungry that I ate the French toast, frozen pineapple juice, and my pancake before I remembered to take a picture. So here's a picture from the Google page to do it justice. Devin shared one of the pancakes with me, got the signature Smart Coffee, and also tried the homemade pudding. Both of us agreed that it was very good. Devin even said that it was one of the better coffees he's had. Smart Coffee happened to be in Teramachi Shopping Street, and we were ready and willing to explore the stores. First stop, we stopped at Daiso to get these fans because, like I said, it was very, very hot. Even though these streets were mostly covered, it still definitely helped having these fans just for like a nice breeze. We were also able to battle the heat by just going in a bunch of different stores because most of them were fairly well air conditioned. We visited a couple of manga and figure stores, and I secured a Miku for one of my friends. Then, since it was so close and breakfast was really good, we decided to go back to Smart Coffee for lunch, since they had a completely different menu and even an upstairs seating area just for the lunch patrons. I ordered a pork katsu, delicious as always, and it came with chicken, salad, and rice. I also grabbed a frozen mango drink. Devin had a curry of some spicy flavor and a salad. While we were enjoying lunch, we were alerted that there could be an incoming rainstorm. So, after we finished eating, we ran back to our apartment to bring everything back inside, or our clothes would be just soaked all over again. We stayed around for a minute and took an air conditioning break in our hotel. And then we went back out and continued shopping. We kept walking around, looking at all the cool shops, and then I was sucked into the vortex that is Strawberry Queen. I was obligated to get some candied strawberries and grapes because I'd seen and heard so much about them, and they were heavenly! I loved the strawberry. The grape was good too, but like, you know, if the grape was like a 9 out of 10, the strawberry was like an 11 out of 10. So, very good. Would highly recommend trying this. We decided to stop by this cream soda place that we'd passed a couple of times. The restaurant was designed like an American diner, but what really got me was the displays on the windows with all of the fake food that showed the cream sodas that looked so good. So Devin and I had to go in. Unfortunately, this was a little bit of an oversight for me, being that they are cream sodas, and I'm dairy-free. I couldn't really have that, so instead, I got a regular soda, which was a little bit boring, and Devin's looked so good. So I had a couple sips of his cream soda and immediately started feeling sick. Funny enough, we received a sticker that described exactly how I felt. We finally went back to the hotel, so tired and ready to go to bed. We just weren't even going to have a real dinner because we were pretty stuffed from all of the crazy things we had that day, and I was feeling a little sick. So we remembered to turn on our air conditioning and then passed out. Day 6. This was probably the most packed day on the entire trip. We got up and went to one of the earliest cafes that was open, Kame Coffee. It had a cool English vibe with lots of wood and some more random decor like this monkey mug and cans of Spam with a train sitting on top. For breakfast, Devin had the stack of caramel banana waffles, and I got the morning set with toast, egg, sausage, hash brown, salad, and a yogurt that I happily gave to Devin. For the drinks, Devin got a siphon coffee drink, which was cool because we got to watch the siphon process. I got a homemade ginger soda, which I liked. Devin also said that he liked his. We got going and walked by the Nijojo Castle. I guess that's just saying castle, 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 but I don't know. Devin, is Nijojo Castle just castle, 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 or is it castle, castle?
Castle, castle?
It had beautiful tall walls and a peaceful air around it, even though we were in the middle of a city. We would have loved to go inside and check it out more, but we had an appointment to make.
Yes.
We arrived at Okamoto Kimono Rentals. Even though it was hot summer, we opted for a kimono over a yukata.
Yukata and kimono are traditional Japanese garments. The kimono is made of higher quality material and is normally worn in more formal situations such as tea ceremonies or weddings. Yukata, directly translated as bathwear, are used during summer because of their fewer layers and more breathable fabric. Most often, you'll find yukata being worn at summer festivals.
We picked kimonos because they're fancy. They had a great selection of kimonos and helped you put together a cohesive outfit. I did get to choose all the colors, my belt charm, as well as my hairstyle. And I got to pick all of my hairpins. It turned out beautiful. All the people there could work magic, especially that hairstylist. Oh my goodness. We got to pick out little bags to carry our stuff, and I also grabbed this beautiful umbrella that was super worth getting because I probably would have got a sunburn without it. We set off to the super touristy streets of Kyoto, and immediately I was parched and had to stop for a fruity strawberry juice with a cute pineapple on the straw. We made it up to Hokkanji Temple and decided to take a rickshaw. This was the best decision because our guy acted both as a tour guide and a photographer. On top of that, we just had an amazing conversation with him. Devin and him were bonding over the fact that Devin drives a Ford F-150 and he couldn't believe how big that truck is. And it was just really fun to watch them talk in a little bit of English and Japanese. He took us to Maruyama Park, and normally in cherry blossom season it has some of the most beautiful trees and is always covered in photographers. But in the off season, it's less crowded and it's a popular location for wedding photography. And we were like, oh, that's funny because it's our honeymoon. And he's like, oh, this is perfect. It was super, super nice of him to do that. We said our goodbyes and walked 10 feet and got out into the Studio Ghibli store.
It's Ghibli.
There wasn't any filming or photography allowed except for this one photo op. We also grabbed a couple souvenirs. The only complaint I have is that it was really crowded, but that's to be expected. It's Studio Ghibli and in a very touristy area. We continued walking up the hill and through the very crowded shops and decided to stop for lunch at a place recommended by one of Devin's friends. I'm gonna butcher this name, but here we go. Kiyomizuzaka Gyon Tamajiro restaurant. This place was so freaking good. It was on the second story with a confectioner shop underneath that did mochi with a bunch of different paste flavors. But on the second floor, it had this restaurant with some delicious noodles. Devin got the cold soba with a green tea drink. I had cold duck noodles and a ginger soda. It was so cold and smooth and tasted so good. Each meal also came with a little triangle of mochi and it had sesame in it. They were super, super good. After we got done eating there, we went downstairs and decided to grab a pack to take home. So it was definitely worth it. Highly recommend this place. We finally made it up to the Kiyomizudera Nimon Gate. This is the entrance to probably one of the best known Buddhist temples. It's absolutely gorgeous and has something pretty to see all time of the year. There were lines to go look at the inside of the temple, but we decided that we were very hot and that we just wanted to take a quick lap around and start heading back, even though I think it would have been very worth it to go look at the inside and all the rest that the temple has to offer. Going back down the hill, we spotted a matcha dessert place that was also on our recommendation list, and it had AC, so we decided to take a pit stop there and order a matcha tiramisu, a matcha parfait, and an orange juice, because when Devin went up to the order and asked if they had anything dairy-free, they went, orange juice. So he got it for me. I did eat some of the mochi, red bean, and crunchies out of the parfait though. We both agreed this place was great. Though if you plan on stopping here, know that the seating is first come first serve and it can get packed in there. We were just really lucky and got a spot. Making it down the hill, we decided that we'd turn our kimonos in early. Now, originally, the plan was to just keep them on and wait until the 6 o'clock return time. We still had a couple hours to wear them if we wanted to, but it was just so hot and we were planning on taking a hike up a hill, literally. So I kind of pulled the I don't think so card and said, let's take these off now. Which turned out to be a very good decision, in my opinion. So we went back to the kimono place and got our regular outfits back on. Then we took a train to Fushimi Inari Taisha, which has roughly 10,000 torii gates. We start up this hill, marveling at the few first torii gates, surrounded by packs of tourists wanting to take pictures. We decide to keep walking and wait to take our pictures in less crowded areas. Other people also had this idea, waiting for the second or third clearings to take their photos and go back down. We got our photo and we're like, let's keep going a little more to see other cool spots. So we keep walking, and there were some gorgeous sights and a plethora of gates. And then we came across this guy feeding cats, and then we walked some more. And I was like, okay, Devin, are you ready to head back down now? And Devin says, well, I won't really be satisfied unless we make it to the top. And we can get some sushi for dinner. You want sushi, right? Well, I do like sushi, and we've already been walking for like half an hour. It can't be much longer, right? Right? Wrong! It was like another 45 to 30 minutes to the top. Though we did walk another 15 or so from where we were and found this beautiful vista and right at sunset. We made it to the top, and we were slightly underwhelmed with the temple that was very much the same as many of the other ones along the path, and there wasn't any view.
Alright, Devin, how do you feel?
I feel tall.
Because you know you're at the top?
Nah, because I'm like 233 meters off the ground. If you think about it, I'm 6 foot, 233 meters tall.
We've been on much taller mountains.
Well, yeah. But is that 233 meters tall mountains?
I mean, much taller.
Yeah. But is it 233 meters?
I guess not.
There it is.
Are you ready to go back down?
Yep, we're gonna run.
No.
And I never saw him again. JK. We went back to the viewpoint and got an even prettier view of the last rays of sunset. Honestly, if you want to go up Mount Inari for the views, this is the most worthwhile view. You don't need to do the final loop, just take a nice break here and go back down. The walk down was a painful blur in which Devin tried to carry me down for a few minutes because my legs were shaking, only to embarrassingly walk past a group of Japanese young guys who were going up and cheered Devin on by yelling, "Fighting! Fighting!" and laughing. And shortly after, Devin hurt his own leg after slipping too much on his flip-flop sock combo. I only remember making my legs move down the last 100 steps by moving them to the tune of sushi, 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 because otherwise I would not have had the motivation to do anything other than sleep. We somehow made it down to the promised sushi land. Sushi roll. Now I know what you're thinking, but it was late and this low-priced tablet order built sushi place seemed heavenly. So we ordered everything from the kids' sushi and hamburger plate to the nicer nigiri fish selections and rolls. We left satisfied with the food and the price. Back to the hotel we went to pass out. It's day 7. The next morning, we blearily woke up at around 10:30, realizing that we needed to be packed and out of our hotel by 11. In a rush, we managed to wake up and have everything out and turning in our key by 10:55. I don't know how we did that. I'm honestly surprised we didn't forget something, but we did somehow. Since it was practically lunchtime when we began our trek to the train station, I begged Devin, who for some reason does not like McDonald's, to let me stop at this corner McDonald's that we kept walking by and try the famous Japanese McDonald's. Now, I'll admit that my menu selection wasn't great, but I wanted to have something unique to Japan. So I got a teriyaki burger, a melon soda, and fries because even Devin will eat McDonald's fries. Now, when I ordered that teriyaki burger, I was kind of under the assumption that it would be like a teriyaki chicken burger, because teriyaki and burger didn't go well together, at least not the McDonald's one. It was really gross, actually. I still ate it because I was starving, but not really worth it, in my opinion. Maybe there's some better items that I should have gotten instead. You tell me what I should have ordered. We headed out to KYOTO Station, and since we had some time to burn before we could go to our next hotel, we stashed our luggage in some coin lockers and decided to finish the list of dessert recommendations we had. At the first place we went, I had one of the most interesting desserts that I've ever had, which was a hot red bean soup with mochi and ginger ale on the side. Devin had a cold dessert with a mix of jellies and mochi with a brown sugar milk tea on the side. I will admit that it was weird to eat a hot soup for dessert, but I really like red beans, so this was great. The second place we went to had a lot fancier of a vibe. It was smaller and had a seasonal menu. We got nearly everything on the menu, starting with the seasonal mochi and a red bean jelly in bamboo, which, as you watch this, Devin just nearly drops. Then we tried this clear noodle, which you were supposed to dip in brown sugar sauce and slurp it up.
How is it?
There was practically just one thing left on the menu, and also it was still really hot today, so I really wanted a cold dessert, and the ginger shaved ice was so good. The sweet and spicy ginger sauce poured over top of cold, fluffy shaved ice. We went back to the station and picked up our bags, stepped on our train, and headed off to Osaka. I've probably got one more part to finish up this trip, but if you like this, please let me know, because these videos take so much work, and I'm continually trying to improve for giving you guys better quality and for my own joy. I'm so grateful for you watching to the end, and if you haven't already, subscribe to support me and join my little community.